Hello and welcome each and every one of you. With you today is me, Daiga, multilinguistic international coach therapist from DCTcentre, and joining me today is Sue Stone, human potential and transformational leader of Sue Stone Foundation. Sue is recognized as UK's happiest and most positive person. Also, she is author, public speaker, and mentor for many, including myself. So, hello, Sue. I'm very happy to see you on my show.
Oh, thank you. Well, we've been talking about it for a while, haven't we? And we've managed to get a
For
date.
years.
Yeah.
For years.
Oh, well, thank you for having me on.
Thank you for coming on show because this show definitely is not one of those what you are used to. So this is no. I know you are on public TV. I know you are on many shows. You are speaking in publics where is a room full of people of thousands and thousands and thousands. So I know this is very small like platform for you, but thank you for coming.
Oh, bless you. Absolutely. And you're a valued member of my foundation as well. So it's an absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So maybe I know quite a lot about you, obviously, but I know that many people who are following me don't know much about you. Maybe you tell them how you started, how everything this started.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good one, isn't it? I mean, how on earth do we get into where we're at? And as always, for many, many people, they have their wake up call. And mine was a good 20 odd years ago now when I'd split up with my husband. I had 3 young children. And interestingly enough, I had a belief at the time that once one thing would go wrong, a load of other things would go wrong. And of course, I had no idea at the time what a self-fulfilling prophecy that was going to be. And of course, I was so focused on all the problems, and things literally did go from bad to worse. And as is very sort of more publicly out there, that moment when I realized I was maxed out on every single credit card and loan, and having been robbing Peter to pay Paul, moving money around, and then one day realizing I was maxed out on everything. The phone was ringing with people chasing for money. I had the bank trying to repossess my home, and another bank trying to take it for the great big second charge it had. And it was that horrible moment in time when I thought, my goodness me, I think my language was a little bit worse at the time, if the truth be known. But oh, goodness me, I can't get my hands on a single penny. My cupboards were bare. And I remember thinking, have I even got any money in my handbag, in my purse? And that's when I raced to my handbag and realized I had just £10 left and no idea where the next penny was going to come from. And that was really it. And the following morning, I remember waking up and having a cry and thinking, oh my God, if I don't do something to turn my life around, no one's going to do it for me. And that was when I started, obviously, taking some very practical action, but also started reading, as you know, self-help books, how to change your life books, and the spiritual books. And I read them all. And then I realized, what I learned, which we can talk about in a bit. But yeah, that was that moment. And I have to say, I have been labelled a number of times in the media as the UK's happiest and most positive person. And I'm very happy to take that. And I've been consistently in a very great space for an awful long time now. But at the time, I'd actually forgotten what it felt like to be happy. I remember thinking, I can't even remember how that feels. And I was consumed with fear and desperation. So anything is possible. So if you're in a dark place, and anyone listening to this, anything is possible, but we have to be mindful of, what we're thinking, what we're saying, what we're feeling. And we can share a bit more about that in a minute.
Yeah, I actually met you at that time when I was in course learning psychotherapy, and also in between I was learning NLP coaching, and everything for me felt like so high words, so high sentences, so everything so high level, because I'm actually, this English is my third language. Yes, so
You're amazing with your languages, amazing. But anyway, yeah, go on.
it should be, it should be my fourth. I should speak French as well because I finished specialized French school. And when I finish school, I speak French absolutely perfectly. But as I learn English, French disappeared. But that's yeah. And for me, learning those big words was very hard to like translate in my brains to make some sense. But when I met you, it was like jigsaw puzzle coming together. Now I understand where those big words coming from. Why we doing this and why we doing that and what will happen with our brains and all, like, that's it. I'm in right place. I'm in right place at right time, and I join your Sue Stone Foundation. Yeah. And
Yeah, I remember you saying that to me. That, and do you know what? I think that has been, not to say the secret of my success, because it's not a secret I share with everybody, but is I keep it simple. We can make all this stuff very, very complicated, but for me to truly understand it and to be able to explain it, and of course, Diga, don't forget when I first started working on myself and understanding the power of our thoughts and the power of our emotions and our conscious mind, our subconscious mind, and all this sort of thing, and the universal laws and the ancient wisdom. And I was only working on myself for survival. Little did I know that years later, once, you know, how I transformed my inner world and then, of course, my outer world reflected, that it evolved, that I've ended up sharing this for the last, well, since 2005 now. I went public when friends said, you help me see life in a different way. You make things so clear and simple. And I think, wow, wouldn't it be amazing if I could help other people find happiness and inner peace as I've done. And so, and that's been it. So yeah, I remember you specifically saying it's all just comes together. We don't need to make it complicated, do we?
no, even those examples where you're talking about frogs climbing mountain, yeah, I understand frogs climbing mountain and how you don't listen, but you can tell this in very high level, yeah. What's happening in your minds if you don't listen to whatever else going on around, yeah. So and acorn, yeah, planting acorn. What will grow from acorn? You're not expecting
The
apple
acorn,
tree.
yeah, as I always
Yeah.
say, you're absolutely right. We all have the seed of greatness within us, every single one of us, just like the acorn, or I should say the oak tree is already in the acorn. And that acorn doesn't have to work hard to become an oak tree. It doesn't have to be worthy of becoming an oak tree. With the right nourishing and the right nurturing, of course, you know, the laws of nature and the rain and the sun, and the same with us, with our thoughts and how we, our self-care and our positive self-talk rather than destructive self-talk, we can naturally all emerge into its greatness. And I make a point of saying, I'm no more powerful than anybody else. No one is any more powerful than anyone else. It's just our beliefs about ourselves. And if we believe things are too difficult and we'll never find a solution, we won't. So we have to be really mindful. And I think, as you know, my work now is mainly helping people shift their consciousness, shift their thinking, and understand by being the observer of themselves what beliefs have I got that are holding me back? Either negative beliefs or self-limiting beliefs, because that is what's in our consciousness. And there are no limits, anything is possible. But if we believe, we like this glass ceiling, we will only ever achieve in life as far as our thoughts take us. So if we believe life always goes wrong at the last minute, or think people always let me down, that's exactly what we create and what we experience. So that was the simple step that I took, was that one little phrase, which I'm sure you remember all those years ago. I remember somebody saying to me, don't forget, your thoughts create your future. And that was that one, what long before I knew the depths of quantum physics, neuroscience that I do now, which I explain simply too, because I've had this passion to keep researching over the 20 years and sharing. But that one little phrase, my thoughts create my future, that was it. I remember thinking, Sue Stone, you're doing this all wrong. I was spending all my time thinking about what I didn't want. I'm going to be homeless with my children. I'm never going to be able to feed my children. And I'm going to have a bailiff, so I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to, my main panic was I'm going to be homeless with my children. And then after a while, being the observer of myself, I remember thinking, wow, I'm thinking about what I don't want. And of course, the more you give thought to what you don't want and give energy to what you don't want, you get yourself into a right old state of fear and panic, and you're sending that consciousness, that energy out into the universe, which will just effortlessly bring more on that vibration, that low vibration. So that was it. I used to almost get that thought out of my head and say, no, it's okay that I'm having this thought, because right now, actually, I don't know what the solution is, but I'm going to be solution conscious. I'm now open to all the ways money can show up in my life. I'm now open to finding the way forward. I'm open to all the solutions being shown to me. And it was that simple shift in where I put my energy, where I put my thoughts, from being, as I would say, problem conscious to solution conscious. And it's remarkable how powerful this stuff is, as you know.
No, it's really, and when you start, as more you start practicing and as more you start believing in it, you can feel how you manage to change everything else around you.
I agree, and I think you're spot on there. It's the more you start to believe it. You see, in the beginning, for me, some people are just born with a faith and a trust, aren't they, in God or a higher power or whatever. I wasn't. So when I was floundering in the dark all those years ago, and I started reading, and it didn't matter which book I read, whether it was the high-flying American ones or the more spiritual ones, or there was always a similar message that there's a much bigger picture to life than these everyday challenges that we face. And but in the beginning, one of my first affirmations was, I trust in the power and the magic of the universe, and I believe in miracles. Miracles happen to me. They were two that I shared in my first book called Love Life, Live Life, as you know. And there it is, my very first book all those years ago. And but I had to, if we say something enough, we start to believe it. So I would repeat it because I had no belief. Then after a while, it was a bit like compound interest. It started, my trust and faith started getting stronger and bigger. And then I've sort of emerged into completely trusting over many, many years. So sometimes it does, as you quite rightly say, take a bit of cultivating, doesn't it? To cultivate the belief that we are protected and we are looked after, and that we're here to, shall we say, learn lessons. And if we don't keep doing what we keep doing, and we get more of what we've already got, So I had to really change the way I was doing things at many, many levels.
I actually added to your affirmation on top of I trust in power and magic of universe. I believe in miracles. Yeah, miracles happen to me. I put every day. Miracles happen to me every day. Yes, so I sort of manifesting miracles every day.
No, I love it. And do you know what? One of my favorite, even more so now that I share, is I create seemingly impossible miracles in my
Impossible.
life. I love that, because if we start to tell ourselves that, remember, a thought that goes over and over in our conscious mind eventually gets accepted as a belief by our subconscious. So if we keep telling ourselves we create seemingly impossible miracles, then that completely bypasses your conscious logical
Mm.
mind that might say, yeah, no, that's a really big one, that's impossible. But and the subconscious mind, so to create seemingly impossible miracles takes away the limits, doesn't it? And it means anything is possible.
Mm.
It's very
Yes.
exciting, this stuff, when you really start to get into it, isn't it? And start to live it and breathe it. And I think that is the key. I think for me as well, I found that over the years, I've realized a lot of people know this stuff. They read the books, they go on the courses, and they know what to do, but they don't do what they know. They don't apply what they know in their life. And I know you do. I know you absolutely walk your talk. And you've got so many qualifications, so many more than me in this area. I haven't actually got any. My
Question
background.
is, question is, was it really worth it? But when I'm asking this question, I said yes on end, because I have I am able not only help people to change their lives at this point, whatever problems they're having now, but because I have psychology on top of it and hypnotherapy on top of it,
I
I can
know.
I can go back to past and help them actually release things from past.
And as I've learned, yeah, it's amazing. And as I've learned, though, over the years, and I always say to anyone with really deep rooted challenges or issues that have gone on for a long time past, I would be the first one to say, go and see, somebody fully qualified in this area
Mm.
and that can help you. But I really believe, and obviously I've been doing this a long time now, work with many, many, many people all around the world, is that if we focus on where we want to get to and be healed from the past and let go of it and not feed the negative thought, if we focus on where we want to get to, we will draw to ourselves the right people into our life that will help us on our journey. And that really was very much the case for me when I became solution conscious as opposed to problem conscious. And I used to say to myself, the right people are always in my life at the right time. And when you start to believe that, just like magic, the right person comes in and it's like, whoa, how could this be? This synchronicities, it's like magic and miracles. And but that's the way it works, isn't it? It really is. And also, sorry, I get excited when I'm chatting about this, but we know this is the ancient wisdom. And it's that science now backs up that everything is energy in our universe. And we're all, the way we feel in every moment is what we're, shall we say, vibrating, what we're resonating. And the key is that two things in vibrational resonance with each other are drawn together. And of course, the indicator of the vibration you're on is the way you are feeling. And that also is so important. If we feed negative thoughts and emotions, a negative thought only has power over me and you and us if we react to it and give it emotion. Because it's the emotion is the energy emotion. So when I started to think, wow, why do I want to feed that negative thought? Because all I'm doing is radiating that should we say, low vibrational energy out into the universe to, like I say, effortlessly draw to me more things on that vibration. So just to simply shift into a vibration of gratitude and love, however small it was at the time, however, you know, often you think, I can't think of much to be grateful for, but actually we can feel our pulse, we can, you know, the air that we breathe, and obviously just I'm alive, I've got my young children who I love. So that was that simple thing, that shifting that. And as we know, if we've got, should we say, as the Americans would say, we've got an attitude of gratitude, but it's true, we're just going to draw more things to us to be grateful for.
Yeah, and I actually have habit now. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. In me is this great, be grateful about something. And I'm driving, and straight away I see some beautiful clouds, and I go in on your affirmation, beautiful, magical skies. I always keep my vibration high, yeah?
Good girl.
I'm
really
just driving. I'm just driving. Nothing really happens, yeah?
I
And
know.
all the time in my head is something to be grateful about, yeah?
Yeah.
Little tiny things.
The great thing is we know as well that we're not hardwired, because I really delve deeply into neuroscience as well, because a lot of people years ago, you would say, well, it's in the genes, it's the way I am, you know, but no, we know that we can literally rewrite our DNA through our thoughts, our environment and things, but we've got to put the work in, and we can create new neural pathways in our brain by completely changing our thinking over something. And like I always give that meadow analogy of the thick grass. If we've always gone that way down across the meadow, the very defined pathway is the old negative thought pattern, shall we say. And now we're going to start to go diagonally across the meadow through the really thick, deep, long grass. When we start to say to ourselves really positive things like every day, in every way, and in every moment, I am becoming more and more positive. I am happy. I am confident. I am successful. I'm so grateful for all the good in my life right now. Now, when we start to say that to ourselves to begin with, when everything's going wrong, it feels decidedly awkward. Just like when we first try and get through the meadow with that long grass, it's hard work, it feels awkward, and we could just give up and go back and do the old thought the pathway, because that's effortlessly easy. And if, of course, we get across that pathway by pushing through, and we only did that once a day, that pathway would never become defined. But if we were to several times a day walk up and back through that pathway, we can visualize it, can't we? And same as repeating some really good, positive, powerful affirmations and self-talk of self-care and how we want to feel, dare to dream. In no time at all, that pathway becomes defined too. But as they say, repetition. And the more you do it, the quicker you get results. This stuff really does work. And I urge people, don't wait till you get as desperate as I got before you wake up and realize just how powerful you are, each one of us. And it's worth putting the work in. I made it my mission to work on myself, because that the fear of failure, it just wasn't an option with my kids. And so, yeah, anything is possible, but we've really got to work on ourselves, haven't we, and take 100% responsibility.
Yeah. Also, now I know that you are not only thinking about ourselves, but you now teaching people to actually think about bigger picture and change world as well as ourselves. And I know out this beautiful new book. Again, I can't find camera.
Yeah, that's it. I can see it. A Wonderful World for All. Yes.
Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit more about this book?
Well, I got inspired. I had a nudge to write my third book. It's only a little book, and I think with everything going on in the world, we know that the energies are rising. We're going through this ascension process, and that's why the work that we do, Diga, is so important now to help people raise their vibration. And rather than being down the fear, doom, and gloom of the control and the fear and the corruption, should we say, that is going on in the world, which is coming more and more to the fore. It's been prophesied for years that the old systems born out of fear, control, and greed, the low vibrational stuff would break down, would fall through, and be exposed. And of course, this is what's naturally emerging. But it's hugely important that we all understand the power of thoughts and quantum physics. And when we heal ourselves, we help heal the world. And that we need to have our focus and attention on the world we want, not the world we don't want. And keeping our vibration high. And that's what this little short book's all about. I've had such wonderful feedback. It's a high vibrational, positive book. I've got contributions from lovely Diana Cooper, who wrote a beautiful visualization just for my readers to help bring in the golden age. And of course, lovely Pam Gregory, master astrologer, has written contributed a short bit on astrology and how astrology, is only half the picture, and that how we the astrology is like the music sheet. How we then play the music is up to us. We could either play the recorder badly, or we could have a beautiful symphony orchestra and collaborate with other people. So that's the other half of it. What we ourselves do, take responsibility for where we're putting our energy and what we're going to create. And that's what that little book is all about. But it's literally gone. I only had my book launch at the end of January, and it's gone all around the world already, literally all around the world. It's actually fantastic, and it's setting a very positive, high vibration energy to it. So, I'm excited about it all.
No, it is beautiful book, and I like, again, same as previous books. It's just very basic words, very basic practices, what you need to do to actually get where you want and help all universe change as well at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, the absolute situation is, of course, the old paradigm in the, should we say, the third dimensional world. It was very much about competition and, it was more about competition. And now, of course, we're shifting into this new world, this new earth of love and compassion and cooperation and collaboration, and how can we all support each other on our mission to make a difference in the world. So yeah, things are definitely shifting, and it's about knowing our impact that we have when we raise our energy or our vibration, and the impact that is happening or having, should we say, for the collective consciousness. So it's a very important time now, right now, with how we all are, should we say, interacting, thinking about the future for our children, grandchildren, and future generations. So yeah, it's all good
I
stuff.
think this book is really in right time and right place at the moment.
I think that's
everyone.
why I had the intuitive nudge. It was somebody told me, lovely Donna Maxine, an amazing spiritual lady, said to me when my last book came out, The Power Within You Now, she said, there will be a third book. I went, really? I've only just written my last book. And that was in 2019, or when it was published. And I thought, well, we'll wait and see. She said it'll be about the new earth. And I just dismissed it. And of course it was, some months ago that I suddenly got that nudge, that intuitive nudge. Now's the time, girl. So I took the action, and it came together. So yeah, thanks, Tiger. Yeah, I really appreciate your kind words about my little book.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I find I like the shortness, like short teachings. There is no columns over long to explain what you want to say than as many books. You know, you for half an hour read what the author wants to explain, then another hour who is helping him, and then on end maybe couple sentences what this author want to say. Yeah, but
Yeah.
this one is I like every page is some okay. If you do this will help that way. This will help that way. And I like I can't pronounce it. Ho, homo
Ho'oponopono.
For me, I cannot pronounce it. You kill me, I can't. But I love this technique, and I think it's one of the most powerful techniques I actually learned so far.
Yeah, I agree. And for anyone that doesn't know, Ho'oponopono is an ancient Hawaiian sort of family traditional healing tool, and it's just a short mantra. And there's different ways of saying it, but the way I like to say it is that we recognize that any negative emotion in us is a trigger from a memory. It could be a conscious memory, a subconscious memory, a soul memory, a past life memory, or whatever, and that we need to look at within us what needs to be healed, and it's about cleaning the data, cleaning the memory, and we just say the short mantra: I love you, I'm sorry. And when you say I love you, I'm saying I love you to my higher self, or to God. I'm sorry, please forgive me, and thank you. And it's I'm sorry for my part to play in this at some level, please forgive me and thank you for healing it. So it's so short. I know the most miraculous healings that have gone on with people, situations where you've had to do nothing except focus on the situation rather than send lots of negative, fearful, angry energy to it, which is a bit like adding fuel to the fire. If we quietly clean the memory and say, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me and thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. And you're fundamentally handing it over to the divine to heal the situation. And you can do it back over anything. And I too, just like you, absolutely love it. And it's so simple, isn't it?
Hmm. And you can do it. I actually teach to my clients, I teach this as a nighttime routine as well. Not only at daytime, bring stuff up and clear it, but at night, last thing what you do at night. Yeah, before you fall asleep and you done all rest of your routines. Yeah, just bring up all negativeness what was over the day. Yeah, bring it up and send it away and ask universe or God, whatever you believe in. Yeah, ask for peaceful night of sleep. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a really lovely idea, actually, to do that, to have it at night, especially if something's troubling you. It's a great
Mm-hmm.
way to shift it because, as we all know, at night, if you've got stuff to worry about, oh, it's so much worse at night, isn't it? When you wake up and you can't get to sleep, and it's a tool to use and know that you're doing something positive. There's some lovely YouTube videos out there that one could even play. I know people that have done that where it just plays in the background as you fall asleep. That's pretty good as well.
I never tried that. I know there is, but I never tried that for myself. But I do know that after I done age regression, there was this technique involved as well at some part. Yeah, and after I start doing literally every day, bit by bit, yeah, my life changed completely, utterly from absolute nightmare to where I am now.
Yeah,
And
you are such an inspiration. You really are. And you do such good work in the world. And your talent for all the different languages, you put us to shame. You really do. I like to go to my lovely Honfleur in France. I love traveling, but Honfleur particularly is where I've written my books, and certainly the last two. And so when I'm over there, I love to indulge, and I've got some lovely French friends now. So my French definitely gets better when I'm spending time out there and everything. But you and what you've done and what you've achieved, you're absolutely a shining example of someone that's turned their life around using all these tools, and no wonder you do well in what you do. So
my friend and school friend, we've been at specialized French school. We are both finished specialized French school, but now she lives in France for many years, and she invites me to her and see scenery there and spend some time. I said, I can't, I don't speak language. She said, don't worry, in a couple days with me you will.
love
So
it.
yeah, she is very sure that I will be able to remember. I don't think so, but
Well, I find because I used to be very good at French, after I did A-level French and bilingual business French, and of course, as they say, if you don't use it, you lose it. But I do find certainly when I'm in France, especially if I have a little glass of wine, and the subconscious taps in and it all comes back. So you'll be fine, Daiga. You'll be fine. Not that you like wine, but I like my wine, as we know.
I can't drink wine. I like it, but I can't drink.
Wow.
Because I straight away start having headaches. That's wine is not for me.
It's no good, is it? Drink lots of water. I like to sound well balanced. I have a glass of wine. I always have a glass of water with me. Anyway.
Yeah, so we little bit take away from our topic today. What else we can, maybe you have some new encouraging tools, what you can say to beginners, what they can start using and how to start this path which we are.
Yeah, I think to keep it really simple, I always say to people, and what I did all those years ago, and I don't have a short memory, is I became the observer of myself. And I started observing, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? And what am I saying? And that key phrase, my thoughts create my future. And the way I feel in every moment is what I am creating for my future. So by observing myself and also being mindful what language we're speaking, because, well, I don't mean what language, but what words are coming out of our mouth is, I am bored, I'm desperate, I'm depressed, I am broke. People don't understand, and I certainly didn't used to all those years ago. Trust me, I've been the expert at doing it all wrong and using wrong language. But when we're saying that, I am broke, I'm depressed, I'm desperate, we are literally commanding our intelligent universe to give us more of that, commanding our subconscious mind. What we sow in our thoughts, we reap in our lives. What we sow in our conscious mind, our subconscious creates for us. So to be really mindful and just have a bit of fun with it, don't make it hard work or it becomes a chore, but as I would say, convert that inner critic to be your inner coach. So when we're very good, and I used to get that inner critic going, self-sabotaging voice, and you'd think, oh no, nothing works out for me, everything's going wrong, what am I going to do? I don't know what I'm going to do. I'd stop myself and think, hang on a minute, don't feed the inner critic. I would acknowledge the thought and just say to myself, it's okay, Sue, that I'm having this thought, because right now I don't know what I'm doing. But I would bring in, as I would say, the inner coach, that's the self-care, and say, right, because I can do this. I can turn things around. I know the way will be shown to me. Thank you. Remember, give thanks in advance. Thank you for showing me the way. Thank you for giving me clarity and focus and the right words to help me, or whatever. But that's very simply what I did. And it's to get the best results. we really do need to have a moment by moment awareness, not just in the morning when we're getting up and trying to do something positive for ourselves, but then the rest of our day get caught into our old way of thinking. That's why we don't get results, because one's predominant energy, excuse me, I swallowed my saliva while I was talking to you. Our predominant energy through the day is going to be one of chaos. And of course, we're sending very chaotic instructions to our subconscious, very chaotic instructions to the universe. So, and even if you can't, just get into that state of walking outside, get into nature, barefoot, really connect. I find that so grounding, revitalizing, regenerating. It just would help me all those years ago when things were chaotic, and I still love it. It's and just be grateful for the air we breathe. Focus on the abundance around us, the abundance of air that we have, and just lots of simple little steps. Don't start worrying about the how, just little steps in the now. And just to finish off, because I'm sure I'm talking a lot and we're going to run out of time, but
no, we're not. We actually, I'm very surprised. We talk so much and we're not running out of time yet. So
okay. All I was going to say is that one of the other things that helped me so much was not only understanding all this stuff, was that to live in the now, that our point of power is in the now. I mean, we live in an eternal moment of now. I mean, tomorrow never comes, do we? We're always in the now. And that's where our power is. Our power isn't when I'll be happy when I've got more money. I'll be happy when I've found a solution. I'll be happy when I've met my perfect partner. No, that's creates the chaos. It's now. It's our point of power is in the now. And if you think about it, isn't it, this moment right now is all we've got. What happened this morning or 5 years ago is just an illusion in our thoughts. And what might happen tomorrow or in 5 years' time is also just an illusion in our thoughts. So when we know, as Eckhart Tolle would say, if you miss the now, you miss everything. And suddenly that for me was like, wow. So when I still had all that chaos going on in my outside world, I worked on getting my inner world right, at peace and calm. And I used to say to myself, Sue Stone, why are you going to feed this thought and think about everything you're worrying about? Because all it's going to do is make you unhappy. And when you know as well that the way you feel in every moment is what you're creating, I just thought, no, I'm going to let you go because I am grateful. I know, like I said, then I'd repeat everything. So it's very simple steps. So knowing that this is the only moment we've got, why do we want to make ourselves miserable? Why do we want to think about the things that are going to make us fearful? And of course, the more we're consumed with anxiety, fear, guilt, or non-forgiveness, whatever it is, as they say, holding on to resentment, bitterness, and all those is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. I mean, that's a powerful statement. All we're doing is creating the dis-ease in our body, which of course manifests as disease and illness and all sorts. So, and as we know, our health is so important. You can have all the money in the world, but if you haven't got your health and you haven't got inner peace and joy, they're the key things, aren't they?
yeah, I actually find very interesting. Very first, I find when I learn about you lose now, lose this moment, you losing all. Yeah, I find when I was watching Red Arrows, my love for Red Arrows.
Mm-hmm.
And I was first shows what I was like constantly trying to catch them. And imagine you all show you concentrating only on catching those planes, yeah? And then I came home and I realized I actually missed the show
Yeah.
because I was so concentrating on catching every single plane, what they're doing, yeah, and watching those planes through the lens of camera, yeah. And I missed the show, and then somehow something in my brain clicked, yeah. Okay, now I understand. If I miss this moment, that's it. That's all it was, yeah. They been up for 10 or 15 minutes. That's it, and I missed them.
Mm. I absolutely hear, but I guess because have you ever been here for the Sue Stone Foundation reunions when we've been in the garden? Were you here when we had the 10-year
I've been,
anniversary? And of course, the red arrows. We live close to Bournemouth Airport, as you know, and the red arrows come over our garden. It's just incredible. And as I say, we do try and capture them because you like to have it to re-look at. But I totally agree with you. For the biggest sensation, it's like, don't miss the show. I think, yeah, we're all guilty of that, isn't it? Getting your phones out and trying to record. So
mhm.
I'm right there with you, actually. It's
Yeah, and that sort of I realized at that moment about how you can actually miss the moment,
yeah, yeah,
totally miss.
yeah.
Yeah, and also what I learned for people who maybe don't know yet, I learned we can trick our brains with another technique. I recently learned instead of trying to convince ourselves and try to learn that I trust in universe or I trust in this power, yeah. I now saying I allow universe or God, whatever, I allow to bring me this. I
Yeah,
allow. So I don't have to trust. I don't have to believe even. All I need to do, I have to allow universe to do miracles for me.
I like that. That's a really good idea because, of course, as we say with the vibrational stuff as well, is, you know, we need to be in that state of allowance to even allow for the good to come into our life, as you say.
Hmm.
But if we resist what we don't want and what we resist persists, of course, we create the blockages, don't we? So no, that's a really good tip. I think that's an
I
excellent
actually
tip.
I find this because I was sort of getting on with all techniques and lots of things change in my life, but mostly I struggled with uh, financial stuff. Yeah, I've been doing every single technique possible. Yeah, and I still everything else in my life goes exactly how I would want. Yeah, or even better than I planned, but that part was struggling. And since I learned this, I allow because I was stopping, I was sabotaging myself subconsciously.
Mm, mm.
And
Yeah, brilliant.
also, all my clients, most of my clients are sabotaging themselves subconsciously, not willingly.
No, I agree. I understand. Yeah, that's yeah, very good tip for anyone listening, I would say. I like it. Well done. Sorry, I'm just seeing my pony. You know, sadly we lost our little Teddy.
I'm
And
so sorry.
the other one's going a little bit running around the garden. I mean, it's nice she's here, but she's on her own. So sorry for the distraction. Anyone might be
No
listening to this.
problem.
I might have
No.
to go in a minute actually and just check on her. I mean, she's in the garden, so she's not alone, and we've got the dogs, but something's definitely going out across the back field. So sorry to maybe cut this off a little bit short.
No, no problem. So thank you very much for coming on. I do send my deepest condolences to your family about Teddy.
Thank you. I mean, so many people have been sending him healing, bless him. But
I've been all the time. I've been all the time, every single day, many times a day. I've been working.
oh,
He
thank you. I
became one
know.
of my clients because what I'm doing with clients, when I work with every single client, I straight away making like Reiki balls. yeah, and sending energy and healing balls to them. So I've been sending this to Teddy, but I'm so sorry we couldn't.
Well,
We
we gave
couldn't.
him our best, and as I say, I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, several hundred, I don't know, you know, maybe in the thousands, have been sending healing to little Ted, who, for anyone that didn't know, is our little miniature Shetland pony we've had since he was 4 months old, and we've had him since 22, and he died in his stable last week. We couldn't have done any more. I cancelled going away, and but bless him, I still need to go and check on the other one though. She's something's
Okay.
going on. But anyway, lots of love to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. See you next time. Thank
See
you
you
for
next
coming.
time.
Bye.
Right. Thanks.